Good to see you. Thanks for coming. I guess we'll just address the what I think is a great commitment from the institution, our department, to give us a chance to continue to develop the program, the players, and the staff, and very appreciative of that, very humbled and honored. And again, just what I think is a great opportunity to keep enhancing as we've worked hard to kind of get our position where I think we've gotten to where we're competitive in a good way, but we talked about building a winning program in the Big Ten East, and we're still a little bit short of that for sure. So we know we've got a lot of improvement, and I think this commitment is going to give us a chance to keep doing that. Our program goal has always been constant, consistent improvement. We've got some solid wins this year. I mean, we end up that one win is against the top 25 team. Had one the year before. Came up short a few times. That we need to get those victories and get over the hump. But at the same time, we've made some success, but we need more, and we see that, and we recognize that, and our whole deal has been improvement, and we have. But now we're going to take it from hopefully what's going to be a program that's gotten to where it's reasonably competitive and start making it reasonably more of a winning, consistent program on that regard. I think this commitment from our administration, from President McRobbie and the Board of Regents and Mr. Glass and our athletic department administration is, to me, it's a commitment to the total program. So we're talking staff, facilities. We're getting ready to go through some things. Basketball's in the process now, but we have a huge facility coming. It's going to enhance our sports science and nutrition and player development. Our support staff, you know, this game doesn't get cheaper and sports doesn't get cheaper with all the support things you're doing with player welfare and player development and player well-being. So, you know, it's not a commitment to what a length of contract or a salary is as much as a commitment to a lot of broad-based people across our program. And those are a lot of things I know that were important to me as we try to work through some things. To me, it's a commitment to program continuity. And again, we got to get over the hump. But to continue to enhance where our staff and some things can stay in place to keep growing. It's a commitment to player development. And we got to continue to enhance. We've done so many things since I've been here with nutrition, our mentoring programs, our strength programs, our support staff, video, iPads, facility, I mean, just so many, our medical. So to me, this is as much about our players and the development of those guys. I think also it's a commitment to our recruits. Hardest thing about this job is recruiting. Because ever since you've been here, you're going to get a job and move on, or you're going to get fired. Nobody never thought you were going to build a good program and stay. And so I'm very pleased to look at some recruits and say, you're talking to juniors and you've got a contract that gets you through their career. Because it's kind of tough when a guy says, hey, I love your offense, am I going to play in it? And so the commitment by the administration to me gives us a great chance, I think, to enhance. And we've recruited on paper from Statistical Recruiting Services better than we ever have. I think our body types and what we're getting on the field, I mean, we go to, I think we're the first team since the 40s to have 3 first-team All-Americans in successive years. We went from one player coming out early to another player coming out early, now to 2 guys coming out early. And we go from never having the riff was we could never have a 1,000-yard back, and we passed that and went to 2, and then this year we went back. When I say 2, we had a 2,000-yard back. I think it was like, what, 90, when was the last 1,000-yard back? 90, 2,000? And so we hit that last year. So, you know, the way we've enhanced that, the way we've enhanced our offensive line in depth, we still got to keep growing on defense. We continue, the way our kicking game was this year, I mean, you know, we've enhanced some things, but to me, it's all about recruiting. And even though we've recruited better, to be able to go into homes, we've worked hard. You know, you guys say, I shouldn't say you guys, but we get, because we have females as well. But we get, you know, the rift of you don't recruit your state. I don't think any school in the country can do for our state kids what our school can. I think when you're the state institution and you're blessed to be at a great institution and play Big Ten football, that's hard to beat. And there's a lot, I've worked at several great institutions and went to one, I think, myself, and it was great for me because it was also my state institution. And it was going to provide so many opportunities. So when we go out recruiting, we're going to start hard in the backyard, always have. And hopefully some of these guys always kind of come in and cherry pick, and that's always going to be hard, and there's a lot of great programs, and we're at a region where that's easy to do, and we can talk about all the other competition and schools in state and whatnot, or the population base, or the quality of football. There's a lot of good football players in the state, and we want those, and I think this contract gives us a chance, because I think it's best to recruit locally, because the greatest thing in playing the game is when mom and dad are sitting in the stands and the kid's got to look at mom as well as his coach after the game. And so you want those local kids. So I think this contract gives us a chance to do a lot of things, and hopefully, like I say, continue to recruit and recruit stronger. And we're kind of sitting about typically where we've been. We start slow by design. I think for us to get upper level kids, we have to earn trust and build relationships and show the stability of what's going on. And we've kind of battled down the stretch pretty hard, and we can skew those numbers and make us look better than we were, worse than we were. But we're kind of about where we've normally been, and we got a lot of fighting to go. And like I say, recruiting's getting ready to really crank up tomorrow with these last 2.5 weeks of visits and seeing kids face to face and those final things going to Sunday. So again, I think this contract really helps us hopefully continue to bring more talent and great kids into our program. And last, like I say, again, just proud to be here representing our players, representing what I think is a great institution. I know my family enjoys it here, but the best thing every day is walking downstairs and working with those kids we got right now. There's a great buy-in. We're losing some tremendous players, and to me, you know, you got guys like Sudfeld or that gets a lot of notoriety, or Jordan Howard, who came out early because of the position and stats, or you know, a Mangieri. But you know, you got guys to me like, you know, Zach Shaw and Jake Reed and Sean Heffron, and Michael Cooper and Cassar. You had some good guys that brought it every day. And as I met with the team this morning, first time back coming off of our convention where we're at, I went listed all the great next players I expect to take those jobs over, to take those roles and take us to the next level. So to me, it's a new era for us. It's not an extension. We're on some solid ground. I think from there we want to take it and now really start building and see how far we can take our program. So again, excited to be here, very, very appreciative, and appreciate you guys coming. I think we need some length and size bodies. You know, with Spriggs, you know, Ralston Evans didn't even play last year, but was in the mix going into it, and Jake Reed, those tight end bodies, Cooper, Cassaro, Sean Heffron played a smidge, but played special teams, was a bigger kid defensively with Mangieri and Shaw and Rayner and Latham. To me, it's not linemen, but it's those bigger type bodies. We'll need to, you know, hit a couple skill guys. You know, another receiver, but you know, we've recruited a lot of skill. Last year we took 13 skill guys, and they were it's one of the most skilled classes we've ever signed. This year down the stretch, we need to find, I just think, some of those tight end, outside linebacker, DN, offensive line types, and there's a few other positions, but it'd be nice to get a solid core there. And typically it takes a year or two for those guys to come in, so don't expect, you know, fresh. We've gotten to where some of these freshmen O linemen and D linemen can be redshirted. And instead of playing so many, although we did play a fair amount last year, it would be nice to identify those bodies. I do think with McCray, I do think we actually had Jameers Bowen was playing a little bit of defensive line. I think we got a good core of offensive line coming back. So Jacob Robinson's going to be fine. You know, we got a lot of guys that are going to be okay, but we need to get some length and big bodies down the stretch here.
How does this kind of affect the assistants? I mean, how are they tied into this? Do they get any sort of guaranteed money from this? Do they get sort of raises from this? Or
No. I mean, it's, you know, that was those the things that I mean, we've had a number of coaches that have had opportunities and have chosen to stay with us, and a couple have already been presented with opportunities already and have declined those opportunities. I think we got a staff that's locked in, and I think that was a part of my deals. I just wanted to reassure that it was more about what we could do than what I needed. And as a matter of fact, I remember actually one time Mr. Glass had the opportunity to address our team, and I'm going to say this, although I don't want to speak for him, but his quote was, Coach Wilson and I meet quite a bit, and he's always asking, or if he has a need, it's for you or for his staff. He doesn't knock on my door about what he needs. Because to me, if our group does well and our players are enhanced and our staff is enhanced, we'll all enhance. And so that was just something we just kind of came to a continued. He's been very, very consistent. And I don't go down there knocking a whole lot. You know, when I go down, it's like, hey, you know, I think 9 years at Miami of Ohio and 3 years at Northwestern influenced my approach of the budget and building the program more than coming from Oklahoma. And what's realistic about what you can do and what you need and how to do it to be on a high level. So I think we have a mutual respect for each other of, he's been very consistent of coming through, and when I've asked, it's had a pretty good effect of the impact it's had on the players or on our program. And we just kind of came to a mutual understanding of trying to work together and maintaining that we'll continue to have that kind of commitment, because my staff's going to need that. And, like I said, I'm very, very comfortable and very, very confident in him and how that's going.
Coach, how's the search for a new strength and conditioning coach going?
It's good. We won't be in a position here, but we're in a direction where I think very soon our program, our guys, we have this, and coming off the bowl game and playing a little bit later, your guys get so much, quote, downtime. We have in our calendar what's called discretionary weeks, where the workouts are basically not orchestrated and ran by the strength staff or by the coaching staff. And we have so many weeks a year we have to do that. So we're using the first 2 weeks of January, which actually go through tomorrow. And then we'll kind of get started on Friday. Now, with it being Martin Luther King weekend, we're really going to start our workouts next week. We'll do some things with the team on Friday and Saturday just to kind of get them back loose and make sure the backs and the groins and the hamstrings are ready to have a good winter workout. And we'll look to have either a 7-week or an 8-week cycle. I have yet to decide based on the strength coach. Do we do spring ball a week before spring break, which I think starts on like Friday the 11th or somewhere around that whatever that magic day is in March. I don't know if we'll do spring practice. Sometimes we've had a few practices before spring break. Last year we did not. I'm gonna wait till our hire's official. But we'll start our workouts next week. We'll have a good 7 or 8 week window. We will have a coach in place. Matter of fact, we actually have a direction that I'm very excited. I had a thought process. Sorry to see Coach Hill leave. He did an awesome job for us, and he was very, though, encouraged by an opportunity. I think he has hired staff here that I've approved of, but he has hired his staff. I think our staff will, a lot of that, stay consistent. But we are going outside for our new leader, and I had a direct philosophical approach of what I was looking for, and I've got someone that we have targeted that we're going to contractually get completed, I think, here very soon, and I'm very excited about the direction it's going to go. I think it's going to be losing Mark's a tough deal, but I think we're going to be sitting in a great opportunity for our players as we move forward. I'm very, very pleased and very encouraged, and that was actually a part of getting through the last week of negotiation. Okay, again, new strength coach. What are we going to need to get this thing in place? Because Mark was an awesome coach, and that's a big hire. But I like the direction, and we'll get something real soon here, I believe.
Yeah, when you look back kind of on your time here, one season that kind of stands out as maybe the toughest is the 1-11 season. I guess, what approach did you have to take through the years here to look forward to the future and see that steady progress that you guys have seen since then?
Yeah, and if you take that, and we've never been one to, because in fairness to all the players and the seniors, you expect and want them to win and be successful. But that was if you go back through that group and you look at that group was recruited where the seniors were recruited as Terry Hepner died of cancer. And who's the coach? And then unfortunately, because of the passing and the timeliness of his death, there was an interim coach for a year. And that was the junior class. So how can you recruit when you're having a coach physically fighting for his life? Who's going to be your quarterback? Going to play man-to-man? You're going to play zone. Who's your line coach? You're sure that guy's going to be your coach. So how, as a coaching staff, can you go out for a 2-year period and really recruit really well? And as we showed up in 2011, that was your senior class and junior class. There were 27, if you look at certain recruiting services, and you guys have the ability to do this if you would take the time to do the work. There were 27 kids on that roster by one service that was offered a scholarship at another BCS Power 5 level school. So 1/3 of that team, other people thought could play Big Ten level football. And I was comparing it to schools that weren't Big Ten, but BCS level schools. So that team was a little void at depth. It's good kids and kids that worked hard. Matter of fact, you skew those numbers out there and look at the last 4, the record's going to look a little bit more competitive like we think we are, not winning. So that one skews the numbers. What we did do is we did stay consistent with our work ethic. A lot of kids didn't buy into it or stick with it, whether it be off the field behaviors or on the field behaviors or academic behaviors. But we've weathered that storm where now our academic behavior's gotten pretty good. We've had some issues that need to get cleaned up, but we've been okay, but some things got to get cleaned up off the field. On the field, we're knocking on the door. And only thing I can say is that we stay consistent. A lot of people say that I've grown as a coach, and I think time on task, we're always growing, but I'm just more confident in our players because they're our guys, and they're just a better product. And that first year it was hard because I'm not a really good liar. And it was hard to be positive when the team wasn't working or wasn't as good as you wanted it to be. The team's gotten good enough now where we got a lot to improve on, but we stay consistent with our values. There became better coach-player relationships. Players bought into coaches, and as the older players became the leaders, the message got permeated throughout the building. So we adjusted, we grew, but really the program grew, and it was really just coming through not just a coaching change, but inheriting a team that really came through a really tough situation. And now weathering, getting back where to me, that's where I think I don't like where we're at. I just think we're stable enough that we can move forward. And I appreciate more than you know this commitment because I think it gives us a chance to maybe get this thing where our school deserves our program to be. And we're going to fight like heck to get it there. Anything else?
Is the date for players to declare for the NFL draft, is that soon?
Yeah, I think it's next Monday or Tuesday. They backed it up a week for the national championship game. So I think it's the 18th. The game was the 11th, correct? I think it's the 18th because I think they want to give those players a chance to get back with their families. And Dan Feeney's here, although he still has the opportunity, and we're still visiting. But I think he's. Well, I'm not going to speak for him, and that'll be another story. In fact, so again, he's just back with us right now, working out and starting school. And like I said, we're just trying to collect the information for him, and going to be very, very supportive of that. So. Hope that answers.
Sorry, were you surprised at all when Darius declared? Were you taking?
No, I thought there was a good chance, and again, we're going to a very talented guy and a lot of upside, and I just think that's something that he felt was best for him. And again, we, again showed the information and talked to some people to say here's what people think of you, but at the same time, he's got a skill set to make it, but it's also, there's everything we do in life is a gamble, and there's calculated risk. But I felt visiting with he and his family. Matter of fact, when the word came out about the new contract, his family was one of the first families that reached out to me, saying congrats. It was like almost immediately, so I appreciated that. So we worked collectively together, and very, very supportive of him.
Talking to the players this morning, the guys you wanted to see step up. With Darius going, most of the guys who opened the bowl game on your defensive front are gone. And now, we haven't seen Barwick and Memminger, some of those guys. Who are some of the guys on the defensive front that you're looking to step up?
Well, and again, you're going to throw Jacob Robinson there. We did have Jameers Bowen. We worked that over there in the bowl preparations. Robert McCray inside. Still got Hoff and Ralph Green. A year ago, I think our leading receiver was Ja'Shawn Harris with 11 catches. And how the heck are you going to catch a ball now that he got hurt? And somehow we found a 1,000-yard kid and a 900-yard kid and a 700-yard kid out of that deal somehow. And so we've recruited well enough that we're just going to expect Robert McCray to keep maturing and Jacob Robinson to keep maturing. And you got Joe Belden back in there. You've got Barwick. You got Memminger. You got Patrick Doherty, who played a lot this year. You're going to have Brandon Wilson and Niles Sykes and Greg Gooch that are that 200. I mean, Brandon Wilson's 265. Does he keep growing into 80, 85, or does he stay? Sometimes it's nice. Brandon Knight playing tight end at 285 was not a bad thing. So just, him, if Brandon Wilson can play outside linebacker 265 or 70 and be productive, that's better than a 230, 40-pound guy. But his body might grow. Like to me, we're talking about recruiting needs with Pete. You just keep recruiting big guys and length guys, and you put them in a great workout program with great nutritional support, and you teach kids. We're doing a lot of information trying to teach our kids on sleep and sleep monitoring to get them to rest. Those bodies keep growing. So, we're going to, and the same deal with the offensive line. We're losing a couple good players, but I think we've recruited well enough with Jacob Bailey and Wes Martin coming back and Wes Rogers. I like Simon Stepniak. There's, Devondre Love did a great job academically. He's a big body. You're losing a couple tight ends, but you still got Danny Friend, you got Fuchs. Where does Brandon Knight go? Austin Doris has done well. Some of those guys, there's a bunch of guys like that. But this will be a great offseason. The biggest thing this offseason will be getting those secondary leaders to start being bell cows and guys that bring it every day. And doesn't have to be the team captain, but a guy that brings it every day. That's mission one, because every team is led. Who's leading the team? And how are you being led? Everybody says you got leaders. Every team's got leaders. Is it going up or down, good or bad, positive or negative? We got leaders. So we're losing a good core of leaders, a couple great ones, but a good core of leaders. We need some strong leaders to step up. And then from that, we're going to need those bodies that we just mentioned there, Andy, to mature and keep growing as a football family.
After the Michigan game senior day, there were some fourth-year juniors that went through the ceremony. You mentioned there was a chance they could come back. Is any of them?
Wes Rogers is back. I think everybody else has kind of stayed the same, from what I gather. I think a lot of those guys will still be in school. I don't know, but I thought Jason Spriggs possibly was going to train and finish. You know, we told those guys, you talk about, coming out pro. We actually tell our guys it's better to train at school and get your education and let a strength coach work out than to go pay for an agent to work you out somewhere else. So I think a lot of those fourth-year guys, Nick Mangieri's, a lot of those guys, and I was going through the grades with the guys. Some of those guys' grades were high end, that I was very, very proud of. So that's a good group of seniors. So, but Wes Rogers is back. He was kind of going back and forth, and I'm excited and pleased with that. I think that'll be good. Yeah, we'll see. You've got to, you're always the quarterback, so, they got to learn how to handle the stress and pressure and leadership and every day, and from walking in the classroom to off the field, cafeteria, and on the field. It'll be interesting as we go through this first month or two. We were fortunate to have Richard go through. Basically, we had 5 workouts over those 3 days he was here with them. Like his skill set, can he get up to speed? We really pushed Austin King very hard to see where he was. You'll still have Xander Diamont, Danny Cameron, although we actually messed around and had Xander out in the slot a little bit for bowl practice. And although with Jay Sean coming back and Mitchell Page, and that's where Isaac James can play, you're not deficient at that position. And it'd be interesting to see with Donovan Hale. He started as a quarterback with injury. We put him at a receiver, but we talked to him. I don't know if we train him as a quarterback. So we'll get a direction, and of course we'll keep recruiting it down the stretch as well.
Structurally to I guess, address the defense, or do you maybe think that things are trending in the right direction developmentally, just organically, or do you?
Yeah, to me, I still have a concern more with the culture than schemes, because I think there's a culture where one side, the way they practice, prepare, and play, is just a lot more consistent. I don't think the players. We scored 7 touchdowns the last 2 games with walk-ons, and I've got 5 coaches on defense. Most people have 5 offensive coaches. You got quarterback coach, an O-line coach, a running back coach, a tight end coach, and a receiver coach. And most people have 4 on defense. And you got the head coach. Well, at Northwestern, there were 6 guys in one room because Randy Walker was a running back quarterback coach. And there was 4 in the other room. When I went to Oklahoma, Coach Stoops was over there, where you'll find Coach D'Antonio, where you'll find Coach Saban, because that's their background. So my thought in coming here was, I've got 5 coaches over there, and I'll be one of the 5 over here. And even though I'm the head guy, you can't be on 2 fields at one time. Now, if we're going spring ball or preseason and good on good, yeah, we're together. But you're going to split up in your individual period. And my thing is, offensively, we've created a culture of a group that plays hard, plays physical. We're the, 4th team ever to have a 3,500-yard quarterback, 2 running backs over 1,000, 1 receiver over 1,000. The other guy's at 900. There's 4 times that happened. 2 times I've been a part of that offense. Matter of fact, we actually had a 900-yard receiver at Oklahoma, and we had a couple All-American offensive linemen too. It's a lot of the same. Hey, it was a group. But I'm looking at that group where you've taken a lot of 2- and 3-star recruits, and gotten those guys up to speed. How many of you guys thought Divine Redding was a 1,000-yard back when the season started? Everybody says, whatever. That guy's growing and maturing. Who's going to catch a ball? We don't have anybody. You got a 1,000-yard kid with Semi. So I love one side standard. As a head coach, it's my job to create it all. But by staff structure, those coaches and I have got to create a standard to mean it's more consistent over there. So that is the only concern I have defensively, more than it should be man-to-man, blitz more, 3-man front, 4-man front. Let's recruit the best bodies we can, but continue to enhance a complete competitive team culture. And there's certain times as the head coach I'm addressing the team, but I just need one side without blaming them. Because I'm not. I mean, that's where our team is. But again, the way the team is staffed, we need to pick it up. And we've talked about it, we've addressed it, and some of that's in recruiting, but really to me it starts with daily culture. And with the strength coach situation, that was addressed with strength coach and how to have a better environment from a strength room to enhance a defensive culture. And because to me, that's a little bit of our Achilles heel right now. So we're going to address that more than scheme or what we do good or bad. We're going to take what we got and recruit it hard. We're going to work hard to be a more complete, thorough team with the culture, the standard. You know, kids don't do what you expect. They do what you inspect. And so expecting is one thing. So I'm inspecting this in the way you prepare and you know, making your weight, making strength gains. Like I say, I got one group, I think it's been really, really good. Like I say, that you know, you're sitting here and, you know, I mean, if you look at that team, you led the conference in points and in passing, yet you had the fewest sacks and fewest turnovers. That's kind of good. I mean, that's good football. And that's really good football. And that's playing against some really, I think we played 5 teams that were rated in the top 26. Wake Forest goes up, and I think they held Notre Dame to about 280. I think they played up in South Bend. I don't think it was down in Winston. And so that was a pretty good defense. And so, I mean, like I like the way one side is really, and now if that one side's good, they're going to do it again. I go back to after game, I talked about my senior manager, best ever. And the next dude come in, and our manager guys are off the chart because the next guy accepts the challenge. That was the talk today to our team. Accepting the challenge offensively. If you're really good, you learn to repeat with the next great leaders. And we've got a side that just needs to understand we've got a standard that's got to increase. And we expect it to. And we're going to work hard to see if we can do that. We good? Everybody straight? What happened to the weather, man? I left and it was nice. Appreciate you being here. It's great to be a Hoosier, man. Let's keep it going. Thanks.